What's up, folks? Welcome back to Beyblade Burst. I'm your host, Michael Nightwing, and today we're covering a very important yet controversial topic. It's fake Beyblades. So in this box right here are a bunch of fake Beyblades that I ordered off Amazon. And this video is directed directly towards parents or anybody getting into Beyblade and they're going on Amazon trying to find a great deal. This right here, it came with 2 launchers and 6 Beyblades, was like $43, all right? So I got 6 Beyblades, 2 launchers, 43 bucks. It's a fantastic and amazing deal that any person or parent would definitely take advantage of. But the issue is these are fake. Now, here's the reason why it's a problem. First reason, these discs contain lead. Now, I have never personally tested it, but that's the word around town is that these pieces here contain lead. And lead exposure can lead to serious issues, injuries, or even death. Then the second part is they can't actually go to tournaments with them. Oh, actually a third one is they break a lot easier as well. But back to the tournament part. Now, if you or your young one are planning to Beyblade at home just with each other or within the school facility, usually this isn't a problem because no one at school really cares. You guys are all the same age, it is what it is. No harm, no foul. But the issue comes in when you decide to get into a competitive scene. At that point, using fake Beyblades is not allowed. So what I'm gonna do is show you the real versions and fake versions and show you what makes them fake, what to look out for when you're buying them. That way you have a better chance of not getting finessed if you don't wanna get finessed. Again, if you wanna buy these just for you and yours to play around inside the house, that's totally fine. But when you start going to a more competitive scene, that's when these can't be used. Also, of course, the whole lead thing. If you're okay with that, you're okay with that. It's up to you. So let's crack these things open and show you exactly what we're looking at here. Okay, so the first one we're gonna look at here is called Prominence Phoenix. This came in a set. The set was about 70 bucks if I'm not mistaken, and it came with 3 Beyblades and 1 launcher if you purchase from a legitimate Beyblade store. What I will do is in the description, I'm going to put a link to every single one of the Beyblade stores that I purchased from so you all can get the same things I get. Now, this one up top is the fake one, down bottom is the real one. Key differences you can tell, not in this part here, and honestly not even this part. They look very similar, but the differences starts to show in the metalwork. So you see here, this one's extremely shiny, and when you flip it over, it just looks shiny, and it just looks like more of an alloy. Now, this is also like a metal alloy, but this looks like a cheaper alloy in my personal opinion. Then when you get over to the disc, that's when it makes even more of an appearance. Here on the disc, it has the letters TP because this disc is called tapered. On this one here, there are no letters. So that's a key sign right there. Then also the same type of shiny alloy look as well. Now, when it comes to the chip, so this chip looks a little bit more faded compared to this chip, but those are minute details that I find difficult for someone just to spot off the get-go. But the easy thing to do is when you flip it over. Now, all of the Japanese chips and Beyblades use these 3-point screws. All the fakes use 4-point screws, right? Because these 3-point screws cost more money to purchase than the 4-point screws. So since these are being mass produced in a factory of just fakes, they use these screws. This is the telltale sign of a fake Beyblade. And then lastly here, this driver is called Metal Universe. Now, this piece is metal here, use that same metal alloy that they used previously. And also it's missing the detail here on the actual top piece. If you look at this one, there's a design here. This one does not possess that design. And also if you take a close look here, you'll see the screws in between the twirly pieces there. And that will show you on these ones, the real ones, they use just like this flat nub thing. You see that? No screws. Okay, so the next one in the lineup is called Cyclone Rock Devore. Now, Cyclone Rock Devore was the first release for this new series. And here you'll notice they did an okay job with the way it looks. It's definitely, the color's a little off, but that's one of those things where you really wouldn't pay attention since they do so many recolors, you may not even notice. But if you check the bottom, again, fake screws, metal alloy, but they did include the wings. This gimmick here was a gimmick that was not included by Hasbro, but you can see like This part here is big and small. On theirs is just big. It's what they had, they just used it, and they threw it in there. The disc, again, missing the name. This is the Giga disc. Now this one's a little bit more oxidized because I've had it for a while, but you see here, GG. So originally when I got it, it was a shinier version, but it's not shiny anymore. This one here, again, is just missing GG. Then the next part is the driver. Easy telltale sign. Again, it's just the screws right here. And then this part is supposed to free spin a little bit. This one doesn't, but you wouldn't be able to tell that via pictures. But if you do see a like disassembled photo, you notice right here, it has the symbol. This one does not have the symbol. All right, the next one that came in this set is called Dangerous Belly Out. Now, this is Dangerous Belly Out with a couple modifications or upgrades that came along with it. But this one here uses the correct armor that came with it, but you'll see here, again, the screws. This top piece right here, this red is supposed to be rubber. Here it's just painted plastic. But the biggest difference is when it gets down to the actual bottom piece. Now this piece didn't come originally with it. It's an add-on part, so we'll take that off so I can show you. When you take a look at it, you'll see the huge difference here. This plastic piece is free spinning. This one does, oh no, it spins. Okay, cool, it did that. But it spins very stiffly. This part right here is supposed to retract at some point, like once it's launched really hard. There's a bunch of like gimmicks on the inside of this one here, where like it's a spring inside that moves. And then it also has like this free spot I told you. Then this thing clicks on here as well to give all these extra pieces. And there's a button here to reset this. This one doesn't do any of that. It's just, you can see it's pretty hollow and just a spring and like a larger piece. So it looks decent, but it's not at all. And when it connects, yeah, so you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference, especially if like you're purchasing it for a young kid. They won't even know. They'll see it and say, oh, cool, it's Dangerous Belly Out, and that's all they know. But you check the screws at the bottom, and you can tell the difference again, easily just by the screws. Just straight like that. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so the next one that came in this set is one called Vanish Longus. Now, this one did not come with the correct parts either. This is the real one, the Kiritomi version. And it has the rubber here, the correct screws, the armor. This one does not have any rubber at all. Now again, the Hasbro version of this does not have rubber roller. Oh my gosh, I'm messing up words today. The Hasbro version of this does not have rubber either, so that's just one of those things. This gold does look cool, but that's not the way it's supposed to look. The chip itself looks fairly decent, a lot more shiny, but again, when you check the screws, easy telltale sign. These are the incorrect parts here, the wrong disc, the wrong armor, but the driver is correct, which is cool, but again, if you check the screws right here, boom, you already know this isn't what it's supposed to be. It does have the other signs that it is good, but it's not it. Also, one key thing to look for when you're looking at the drivers is a lot of times you'll notice that there is the name of the company right here. So it says Vietnam, where it was made. It says HMBB, and then it says Tomy, because the company's called Kiritomi. Here, there's absolutely no writing or anything. Here, no type of signature or maker's mark. So that's an easy way to tell, again, another fake Beyblade. Okay, so the next one we're gonna look at here is called Astral Spriggan. So Astral Spriggan was a prize Beyblade that came in a set. The set itself, I wanna say, was probably close to $70 as well, with Astral being the main prize and a couple other Beyblades being in that customized set. True story, someone actually stole one of my Astral Spriggans because it's kind of difficult to get this Beyblade now. It's kind of sold out. But that's a story for another day, maybe. So when you're taking a look at Astral Spriggan, it's going to be the exact same key points you want to look at. And we actually need to take this whole thing apart. The first thing to look at here is going to be the screws. So we see on the black side here, they have the screws. Immediately you can see the difference right here, just in the way the screws are. First sign, easy to go with. The next one's going to be the actual armor. Now this armor is an armor called 6, and this one here is called 0. The real one came with the armor of 0, not 6. But that's one of the things you really won't pay attention to. Also check the screws here. I said the screws. Check the screws here in the armor, excuse me, in the chip itself. Again, 4 pieces, 3 pieces. This right here, so these white parts right here are rubber, right? So these are rubber parts right here. And on this one, it's not rubber. It's just plastic that's been painted. Now, Hasbro, the American company that makes Beyblades, does not include rubber on their Beyblades a lot of times. So that's one of the things where it's like, if you buy the Hasbro version from Walmart or Target, that's totally okay. It's not going to look the same. Like, it will not have the fake screws like this one, but it may not have rubber. And that's just because Hasbro just doesn't do it. They just don't. Like right here, this part should be metal. This one's metal, this one isn't. But in the Hasbro version, when it comes out, it won't have metal either. So just keep that in mind when you're buying Hasbro. Those are totally legit. They're just cheaper. When it comes to the disc is also wrong. This is not the disc that came with it. It came with this one called Over. Now, if you look here again, there's no letters. This disc is called Giga, and it used 2 G's. This one Over has OV, but as you see, this one has nothing here. So that's an easy way to tell it's fake. Also, it even has some metal here that's not even fully cut out. Another great way to tell whether or not it's fake or real. Then we come down to the driver. The driver is called Quattro, and Quattro here has 4 screws. Quick, easy way to tell the difference. Also, when you start flipping through Quattro itself, you'll notice that things aren't the way they're supposed to be. Once you move to this rubber tip here, it's supposed to be a flat rubber tip, but on this one, it's just a flat plastic tip. And then this right here is supposed to be a metal tip. So right there, but they don't have that. And then the last one should be a metal ball. They do actually give you the metal ball, but it is not free spinning like it's supposed to. It's supposed to be a defensive spinning thingamathing. And this one, actually no, it spins. Okay, so this one spins. But they did not include the rubber bits that are supposed to be here. So, or the metal bits on this one. So that was weird, they only did metal on one side. But yeah, so that's gonna be Astral Spriggan. Those are the key parts to look out for this one. And the last Beyblade that came in my set was called Greatest Raphael. So right here is the TT version, and then here is the fake version. This one has a lot of gimmicks to it, where like these wings go up and everything. And let's see if I can show you. Yeah, well, it's actually, whoa, so this one's really weird because there's actually no teeth in here to actually click it down on. So this Beyblade, I don't think you can even put together. I don't know, this thing doesn't even look like it's supposed to go together. Yeah, this one doesn't even have like teeth or a locking mechanism to actually, yeah, there's nothing there. So as you see here, this one has teeth. This is how it locks in. This one has nothing. So they forgot to mold on the teeth for this. So you can't even use this Beyblade. But same regular things, screws. The disc they did correctly though, they actually gave it the word over. So you have that, or the initials of OV. So for this you'd have to really pay close attention to the metal work. And then for the driver, they have the gimmick here where it changes. You can change modes by just lifting and turning it. Really wouldn't be able to tell the difference for the most part until you check the screws again. And also the top. They have the symbol that you're supposed to have here, which is great, but it's missing the indentations there. And it also doesn't have holes. So this one has holes in the top for whatever reason. This one does not. It only has the 2 openings here. This one has like 2 on each side. And this one kind of sticks out a little bit. But these are all fine things you wouldn't be able to sell in a video or a photo, but some you can see in real life, whether or not it's real or fake. Interesting. All right, so now the very last piece to take a look at is the launcher here. So like I said, this one came with 2 launchers, and it's just all around a great set that I can completely understand why someone would purchase it. Because for 43 bucks, you get 2 launchers, 6 Beyblades. So if you have 2 kids, they both get 3, and then boom, you're good to go. They leave you alone. They're happy, you're happy. But the launchers, now the issue with the launcher comes in where you can't use fake launchers at a tournament because they can say they use illegal parts which could increase your spin power illegally. Now if you're looking at the launcher itself, one of the things you won't be able to tell is just the screws. The screws here are the same because these launchers you can take apart if you need to make any cleanings or adjustments and stuff. So when it comes to that part, you will not be able to tell the difference with the launcher. And I'm just checking here to see if there's any indications or indentations on here that would really give you a heads up. The color itself is a little darker, but they've made like a couple custom launchers that were different colors, so you wouldn't really be able to tell. So looking at this, there's a couple of signs, just like the way the plastic is, but you know, it's one of those things like you wouldn't really have to pay close attention to. But when you take a look over here at the back piece, this is when it gets kind of funky. So on the fake one, there's no words right here, right? There's nothing that goes right here. But on the real one, it says Bey launcher. The word Bey launcher is how you would know this is a real one. It actually has like Beyblade on it, or Bey launcher, or some type of wording to let you know that this is an official Beyblade product. So this one goes here, the real one. This goes with the fake one. Then when it comes to this piece, the only way you can tell here, because like I said, it has the screw, like the same screw, you can take it off. This is a lot more flimsy looking compared to the real one. If you take a look at it, it's thinner, doesn't have the same type of like slide off kind of gimmick to make the launching of the Beyblades is easy. But if you just take a look here, you'll see that HMBB Tomy Vietnam. Here, you'll see nothing. And that's how you would be able to tell these parts. Now again, for the actual body, it'll be a bit difficult to pinpoint that just because of how many different type of launchers they've released with different colors and stuff. But like this one right here, this red one, I have a red one that looks just like this, but you wouldn't really be able to tell unless you looked at this part here where it's nothing written there, no Bey launcher or anything. And also it doesn't say Beyblade at the bottom, or it doesn't say Tomy. Now, you watch this whole video and the main question you may have is, okay, it's fake. I know what to tell, like what to look at for a fake or not a fake, but does it work? Does the Beyblade work? And the answer is, yeah, it spins just fine. It works. Except for this one, which I showed you had no teeth, but the Beyblades work. They spin, they attack, they do what they're supposed to do. Now I will say, if you take a look on Amazon, and I'm gonna link a couple of those at the end, you'll notice just in the name, it says something like gyro tops or spin battle tops. That's how you know these aren't legit. These are not it. The ones that are sold by legit companies that use actual Beyblades sometimes don't even use the name Beyblade in the name. It'll just be the Beyblade's number or serial number. So that's where I would recommend staying away from them, just because it takes a lot more work to figure out if this is a real or a fake, and you don't want to have to deal with that. So like I said, I'm going to link in the description all the stores I purchase Beyblades from, so it's just easy for you and you know they're real. That's it. You just got to go onto the sites and you can just buy the Takara Tomy legit Beyblades. This one here is having a hard time getting in though, and I don't know why. This is the Vanish Fafnir. Is everything locked in? Yeah, everything's locked in like it's supposed to, and this is supposed to just clip in. Okay, there we go, got it. Oh, well that's the problem. Okay, so this Beyblade here, Vanish Fafnir, is a left spinning Beyblade, but they have it where it's a right spinning Beyblade. So that's a big sign there. And then another thing I didn't notice about this Astral one here is it's supposed to have a changeable core. So the core itself you can change from left to right. And I don't think this has that. It doesn't. It looks like it's supposed to have it, but I don't think it does. Let's see if we can find out. No, it works. Okay, so they give you the so they give you the changing gimmick. So it actually does do the changing gimmick. So that's good. That's a nice little detail that even Hasbro left out of their version of this. So that's nice. But again, these are all things you would know and you would realize if you just, if you take the time to learn about them. But it's not one of those things you would just notice off the get-go. It's one of those things you just have to really develop an eye for it, and you'll notice what is and what isn't supposed to be there. And again, the easiest way to tell is just the screws to start off with. Anything with regular screws you can buy from Home Depot, that's how you know this is a no-go. So they work, they're solid toys, they do what they're supposed to do, they spin. This one you can't put together, but they work. They're toys, they're Beyblades. But I wanted to make sure that it was understood the difference between them, so a lot of parents going forward will be able to get their children what they need if they want to compete competitively. I go to a lot of tournaments, and at these tournaments, a lot of folks show up with fake Beyblades, and I totally understand. The parent hears, hey, I want Beyblades. You go on Amazon, see Beyblades, you buy Beyblades, and you see this is 43 bucks. Fantastic steal. You call it a day, you're happy, your kid's happy. But when they get to a competition, it is very disheartening and very embarrassing for the child to hear from the judge, hey, your Beyblade's fake, you can't use it. Yeah, so hopefully this was helpful. Do me a solid favor, if you can, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and go home and tell your aunt you love her, and make sure you let her know that you care deeply for her. All right? Have a great and fantastic day. Be safe, be happy, be joyful. And I'm out. See ya.